All right, give me your take on. I heard you call the frauds earlier, so
I all right, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, and it's going to backfire. I don't think it's that good.
oh, are you calling him a fraud?
I think the whole team is a fraud, but
Like election fraud or like fraud?
election fraud.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots, stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert! Upset alert! I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm gonna drink bleach.
Be the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Welcome to episode 23 of Birds vs. Boys. As always, we are powered by Branded Sports, and this episode is brought to you by our friends at Stateside Vodka. It's vodka for nothing but kings and queens. If you're a loser like me, you don't deserve it, but I'm going to sip on it anyway. Kmess here with you, the boy. My boys lose again, but I'm not too mad about it. And we'll get into that later. And next to me, as always, the bird. He had his vacation this past week. How was your bye-week vacation, Aidan?
It was the least stressful week of my life. It should tell you something that the fate of the United States was kind of up in the air. And
Still
I was like,
might be.
wow, this is pretty relaxing.
Yeah, that was, not finding out until Saturday before noon kickoffs of college football after a Tuesday election was quite something.
Yep. It lasted 5 days, and you didn't know who the next leader of the free world was going to be. But hey, the Eagles weren't trailing the Giants in the fourth quarter, so I was okay.
Yeah, Trump's all mad, but did he watch any Cowboys games earlier in the season when they were leading or losing by a lot, and then they came back to win? I mean, or the many Atlanta Falcons games were the opposite way.
Yes, I was about to say, clearly does not know what goes on with the Falcons.
And where do the Falcons play?
Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
See? It's connection, web. All right, speaking of Georgia and teams all around the country, we're going to go a little around the NFL before we get into the Birds versus the Boys. As always, on our Tuesday episode, producer Vince puts up a clock. Doesn't look like he has the clock ready. But
got him off guard.
We will go
week 9.
We're only 23 episodes into this. All right, so we're going to throw up the clock if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening anywhere else, we go 60 seconds and try and run through the games that were played on Sunday, minus the Cowboys game, and there was no Eagles game. So, producer Vince, that was pretty quick. So, 3, 2, 1. The Texans win 27-25, but I lose again betting on them, -7.
The fraud Ravens win 24-10 over the Colts, but once again, they are frauds.
Giants beat Washington 23-20, and I lose the under.
Dalvin Cook is on one of the greatest tears of all time. Vikings 34, Lions 20.
The Bears offense does not deserve their defense. They lose on the road 24-17 to the Titans.
The Chiefs keep playing close games. Panthers gave them all they could handle. Chiefs 33, Panthers 31.
Russ cooked some undercooked chicken Sunday. Seahawks lose 34-44 against the Bills.
The Falcons did it. They almost blew it, but then they didn't blow it. Congratulations to Atlanta for not fucking it up.
Being a Chargers fan must be the most exhausting thing in the entire world. They lose 31-26 at the last second.
Big surprise here. Kyler goes off, but the Dolphins come out on top, 34-31 on the road.
The Saints absolutely drub the Buccaneers and Tom Brady 38-3 on Sunday Night Football.
And that's 70 seconds around the NFL.
There we go. Hey, we're getting closer.
Let's stay we're obviously about to get into your game in less than 2 minutes.
Yep.
Let's stay with Sunday Night Football for a second, the last game you just mentioned.
Yep.
That was shocking.
It was. I shut it. I'm going to be honest here. I shut it off at halftime and went to sleep.
Me too. I put it on Netflix. I was like, I can't do this. It was so bad. But I don't know what was going on with the Buccaneers, but that was atrocious.
Yeah, it was just like in the beginning, just watching Breeze. What did he start out 12 for 12, I think, and then he was like 12 of 14 with 3 touchdowns. It was like artwork. And then they throw Taysom Hill in there. That dude, when he runs, I do not want to get run over by him.
I know. Yeah, he has some wheels to him. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's big, but he can put the afterburners on. You don't realize it because you think he's like this big, dumb, like white guy who's just gonna bowl over people.
Yeah.
Like, like in like white areas, there's always like one quarterback who's 6'2". He can't really throw, but he's just big. So you just like run the jet sweeps the entire game, and he'll take half of them. Like, that's what Taysom Hill is, except he's actually fast.
Yes. So were you more? We both had the Bucks in our power rankings last week. So were you more surprised at how bad Brady and the offense looked, or how the Saints were able to beat up on that pretty good Bucks defense?
Definitely the Bucks. Because they are a playoff contender. I was talking with someone. I was like, I could see this like being the NFC Championship preview. The Bucks looked like a 3-13 team. That was atrocious.
Yep.
And I don't understand their offensive game plan. They barely ran the ball. They just went back and threw it. And even though they threw it, Mike Evans was a ghost. Antonio Brown, I mean, he had 3 catches. It was disgusting football. It was so boring.
I'll give you a quick rundown of the Bucks on offense here, if we even want to call it offense. So Tom Brady in this game was 22 of 38 for 209 yards, 3 picks. He was sacked 3 times. He had a QBR of 3.8 and a rating of 40.4.
Look, I'm just going to say it. It's tough to come to this, but I think they got to start Jalen Hurts.
I think
it's that time.
So you said that they barely ran the ball, correct?
Yes.
Take a guess of how many rushing attempts there were.
It had to have been lopsided. I watched from the second quarter all the way into the third, and I saw them run the ball twice. I'd guess 12.
Ronald Jones, 3 carries, 9 yards. Leonard Fournette, 1 carry, no yards. Blaine Gabbert, 1 carry, -1 yards. That's it.
How is that your game plan?
You got to take out the Blaine Gabbert. Obviously, he's just kneeling down, waving the white flag at the end. So literally 4 rushes for 9 yards in that game.
That's remarkable. I've never heard of a stat line like that. And for a team with 2 good running backs,
like, I know they were down quick, but still.
But it's still in the first half to not even try.
No.
What a gross game.
Gronk had 1 catch for 2. Antonio Brown 3 for 31. Godwin 3 for 41. Evans 4 for 64. I mean, it was just an ugly ball game.
And so ugly, I am done talking about
it.
Me
too. Now
let's get into one other game before we get into the big game, the big boys.
Huge game.
So I think we each have a take in this game, Colts Ravens, and I think we both have a take about the quarterbacks in this game. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I mean, mine's really quick.
Go for it.
Phillip Rivers is done.
That it was not a great look.
It's time for him to just go home and take care of his 9 kids.
Here's my problem. You know what? This stupid city. Well, you know what? I'm not going to talk trash on Philadelphia this week because we put on a show for the entire nation this week. But we're going to run Carson Wentz out of town, and Indianapolis is going to be the first one knocking at the door.
If they don't take
that team is really missing. What's that?
If they don't trade for Dak.
If they don't trade for Dak, true. Or just flat out sign him.
Yeah.
But like Frank Reich would be the first one. Him and John Gruden would be the first ones to be like, okay, yeah, we'll take Carson. That's my biggest fear. Phillip Rivers is done, but they need somebody.
Do you think Rivers is just playing just so he can stay away from his wife and 9 kids?
Probably. If I had 9 kids, I had 1 kid, I'd do that. There are these people. I was watching the game at this outdoor. I don't even know what you want to call it because it's not really a bar.
Beer gardenish.
Kind of, yeah. I get it's kind of a mix between the two. But anyway, like there were two families, and they both had 2-month-old kids that were like a week apart, and they were talking about childbirth and what it was like, and the mothers like compared notes, and I was sitting there, and my jaw was like on my kneecap. I was like, is this what it's like?
Mhm.
Are you kidding me? And Philip Rivers did that, and his wife did that 9 times.
9 times.
9. 9 times.
Ferris missed class 9 times.
9 times. Bueller. I
Bueller.
I would do the same thing as him. Like, yeah, I'd play as long as possible.
Yeah, get me out of the house. Get
Yeah.
me away from. Maybe even let his wife was probably like, I really like it here in California and San Diego. I don't think you should leave. Maybe you should just retire. He's like, listen, you and the kids stay right here. It's beautiful. We have a great house. It's beautiful. It's sunny. It's always warm. I'm gonna go to Indianapolis by myself and I'm gonna go play football. I'll be back in a few months.
He will be, and he will just transition right from quarterback to offensive coordinator somewhere.
Yes.
There will be no layover at the household.
Nope. All right, give me your take on. I heard you call the Ravens frauds earlier, so
All right, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, and it's going to backfire. I don't think Lamar Jackson's that good.
oh, are you calling him a fraud?
I think the whole team is a fraud, but
Like election fraud or like fraud?
election fraud, voter fraud, because whoever voted for this guy for MVP, you're cheating.
You're cheating.
But no, I mean, it's just not there.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if it's a confidence thing or a talent thing, because I
think it's both.
think last year he was more willing to attack defenders in the passing game. You barely see them even take shots on intermediate routes. Like everything is short. Everything's between
Yep.
5 to 10 yards. He just doesn't throw it down the field. And he's gotten into this weird habit of this sidearm thing, like he's turning a double play. But he's doing it even when he doesn't need to do it.
No.
And he's a great athlete, so he'll have a long, illustrious career. I don't think he's bad, but there was like an argument this offseason. Who would you rather have, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, or Patrick Mahomes?
I think Lamar's fourth on that list out of 3.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now. Like anyone taking him, like you are on drugs.
Yeah.
You are on drugs, and not even the fun kind.
I'm taking Dak Prescott before him, I think.
That you are also on drugs. And not the fun kind.
Maybe even Garrett Gilbert.
Well, how about that? That's the only thing I had on the Ravens. So let's get into the Garrett Gilbert show that we saw yesterday. Who?
Garrett Gilbert?
Garrett Gilbert. Gilbert Garrett.
It was the Gilby show, man. So, yeah. All right. So, Dallas Cowboys at home against it was America's team versus the gold standard. And I don't know if you heard Ben Roethlisberger after the game, but he said that Cowboys may be America's team, but the Steelers are the world's team. Don't know what that means, but
That is the Steelers are prone to just like really odd quotes.
Yes.
Like Mike Tomlin is a quote machine.
It's like, okay, sure. But so I went into this game with no hope. I was thinking, Steelers are going to cover the 14.5. Garrett Gilbert, it's his first ever start. Yes, he was the MVP of the AFL. Looked great in Orlando. But this is the big time. This is the NFL. Obviously, Ben DiNucci started against the Eagles. Cowboys were like, okay, well, that was enough. And they went and signed Cooper Rush, and they got Garrett Gilbert off of the practice squad of the Browns. And Mike McCarthy has like weird connections through everyone on this team. Like Mike Nolan hired him for the Niners, so he's repaying a favor to him. Ben DiNucci, his like uncle's nephew, is like worked for McCarthy, so he and he has like a dead dad. So like McCarthy wanted him to get drafted. So like, all right, just pick him in the 7th. And now Garrett Gilbert like grew up with McCarthy's daughter. I don't want to say was banging his daughter, but probably. So like, there's all these like he only like brings people in that he has these weird connections with. So
he'd be like I love how he works like the mafia works, where you're like, yeah, I'll do this for you now, but you owe a favor to me later on. Except he's the least scary mafia boss I've ever seen in my entire life.
What do you think's more unhealthy, him or Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones.
You think? I don't know. He looks like Jabba the Hutt with a mask on.
Yeah, when he gets fired up, it's not a great look because everything shakes. Yeah, it looks like, you know how those videos when they put it like in the person's face when they're on a roller coaster, they're shaking on the way up the hill,
and the whole
they're about to hit the steep drop. Like that's how he looks when the Cowboys get called for pass interference and he doesn't agree.
Yeah. Or when Jalen Smith hits Ben Roethlisberger in the face with his arm.
Yes.
So I went into this game with not much hope, and I was watching it with Cowboys insider Matt Yost, and he is fully on Team Tank, and he's kind of pulled me in that direction as well. So, it was kind of the perfect storm of a game for me. Cowboys were in it, right? Had the lead. I would say they outplayed the Steelers yesterday. The Steelers probably played their worst game of the season, but the Cowboys outplayed them for most of the game. So it was fun. Garrett Gilbert looked good. He definitely can throw the ball down the field better than Ben DiNucci did. He actually looked like a quarterback. The defensive line played with a lot of juice yesterday. Some of the, corners looked good. My wife walked down. She sat with us for about 5 minutes to watch. She goes, they actually look like a football team today. And I was like, well, all right. Well, thank you. Yes, they do a little bit.
It's the best compliment you can pay at this point.
Ever. So they did all this. They showed me that there's hope there with some positions and some young talent like Neville Gallimore, their 3rd round pick, defensive tackle out of Oklahoma, looked great yesterday. They were using him. He's a up the field type of defensive tackle, and they were trying to have him play like a 2-gap. And he can't do that. They had him going up the field yesterday. He looked great. So there was a lot of hope, but then in the end they lost. And I'm cool with it. Because now, with the things that played out yesterday, the Dallas Cowboys are sitting at the 3rd pick overall right now. And I'm good with that.
I knew this was going to be your take. I knew you were going to be like, well, moral victory because they tried hard, but then they lost in the end and we maintained our draft position.
No, not maintained. Moved up.
Moved up. Okay, technically, yes. I stand corrected. Tell me, there wasn't even a small little piece of you that wasn't like, I really wish we won that game.
Yeah. I mean, of course. Of course. It was there. And I was fighting myself. I was like the kombucha juice girl. I was like,
yeah. I don't know.
I did want it, especially when they were up. Because the way the first half went, they were up 10-0. And then at the end of the half, when Boswell misses the 52-yarder, but the Steelers get a false start, and then he just drills a 59-yarder that could have been good from 70.
Which only happens to bad teams.
Yes.
Like, there were points, like I've been through some bad teams. So like sometimes you just know it's not your year.
Yep.
That is one of those moments.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. And, at that point, I was like, all right, well, they're going to get drubbed in the second half, and the Steelers are going to win by 21 after that. Because, a team that has kind of looked like they've already quit on themselves earlier in the year would hang their heads and be done. But they hung in there in the second half, and Garrett Gilbert was leading them. So I was happy about that. I'm happy that they didn't quit. And since they didn't quit, yes, I was, even at the end, I'm like, ooh, Garrett Gilbert's going down when the Steelers went for it on 4th and 1 and they stopped him behind the line, I was like, we got like 40 seconds here.
Yeah, I didn't understand that decision at all. It was
apparently Tom.
I do agree with you. Even with those 40 seconds, I was like, like this team has played well all day. It would not shock me.
All they needed was, CeeDee Lamb to get loose, and
only it was Rager.
It was weird. Lamb had a touchdown yesterday, but I didn't see Rager have one on the board. Weird.
Now they're even the past 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, 2 weeks. So couple questions for you. I want to see your reaction to this. So, Garrett Gilbert, we said looked good, but Stephen Jones on 105.3 The Fan today, after saying that Mike McCarthy is no doubt, no matter what happens, their coach again next year. Says,
Congratulations.
yes, thank you. Says that Andy Dalton will be their starter going forward. Agree or disagree?
Disagree. Gilbert played. He's the first one who's shown you anything on
Right.
offense for a month.
Right.
We're not talking like he had one good quarter and they had some gimmick plays and it worked out. No, like
Was their most complete performance since Dak Prescott?
yes, 100%. So Gilbert should be the starter. I'm assuming you agree.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want Gilbert to untank my team tank, but I like seeing, like, even if I'm Andy Dalton, I'm like, yeah, I'm good with that.
I got my head taken off. No one stood up for me. Now I got to go back in. I'd be like, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, have fun, other redhead.
Yeah.
I don't think he's really a redhead. I know Cooper Rush is, but yeah, I'm all for Garrett Gilbert. But now if Andy's healthy here, they got Garrett Gilbert, Cooper Rush, Andy Dalton, and Ben DiNucci. I mean, can't ride with 4 guys here.
Someone's getting the boot.
Ben DiNucci.
He's probably the one who gets the boot, to be honest, because like there's just no way you can put him back in.
No, not after that. I'm not giving him even another shot. All right, so we agree on that, but I'm sure it's going to be Andy Dalton. Should the Cowboys be? Did you watch this game? Correct.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Should the Cowboys be giving more touches to Tony Pollard over Zeke right now? You
That
can
was
clearly see it.
Like aside from my one, well, I'll get to my one take after your questions, but take number 2 was that Tony Pollard. I don't know if Zeke is injured or they just ran him into the ground these past few years, which they did.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony Pollard is the best running back on this team right now. And it's shocking. Like my fantasy football league, the person who owns Zeke is like, I don't know what to do. Like I might flat out drop him. He has no trade value. I don't like he's unstartable. He was like, my only option is to drop him. And
he was my number 1 pick in my big league.
Yes, and it's just like the wheels aren't churning. You know, it's how I felt with Alshon Jeffrey last year. To bring it back to Birds versus Boys, like something wasn't there. Like the burst was gone, and I don't know if it was a short-term thing or a long-term thing. We're gonna find out probably in 7 days, but something is not there with Zeke right now, and Pollard is just so much better.
Every time he touches the ball, you just see it. It looks like he's reading the blocks better. He's got the burst, and he's a lot bigger than people. I mean, he can be an every down back. When he came out of Memphis, people thought he was like this like scat back. He played a lot out of the slot as actually a wide receiver in college.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a big boy. He can take the toll. You know, I watch the Minnesota Vikings and I see what they have there, and like their backup Madison, he runs like a house too. So I look at what they have with the 1-2 punch there, and like that's what the Cowboys should be right now with the 2 of them. But Zeke, like you said, I don't know if it's mental. I don't know what it is, but you can't say that, the offensive line is terrible and he's not getting blocked. But yet every time Pollard comes in, he's breaking off an 8 to 15-yard run.
Remember that game on the computer you used to play? It just like came with Microsoft or Windows or whatever, that pinball game, and you just shoot it up. Like that game was so fun. But that's what Pollard looks like.
Yeah.
I can't say the same for Zeke right now. It is not great. And I don't know if he's mentally checked out or his body has physically checked out or if that tattoo on his stomach is weighing him down. I think something's up.
That yesterday too, when like I think it was like he had his first okay run of the game, and immediately it was just like, I'm like, dude, come on, like you've run for 1.2 yards a carry for the last 14 carries. You got 1 run. Maybe sip some soup. You don't need to eat a meal right now.
Hey, here's a question for you. Hey, how's Jalen Ramsey doing right now?
Yeah. How even better question. How's TJ Watt doing right now?
That I was going to bring that up. So, yeah.
How's Miles Jack doing over Jalen Smith?
That one, I will never understand how Miles Jack fell. at all. Not just the Cowboys, but just like anybody. Why no one jumped on that?
How's
But
Taylor Rapp doing? How's
yeah,
Juan Thornhill doing? Oh, there's this defense could be balls out right
the
now.
TJ Watt one is really tough because he's just such a smart player.
Did you every time I felt like I was saying to my buddy yesterday, I was like, "Did you see how fast he just got off the ball?
I
He's
know.
unbelievable."
We are very close, and it'll take one Steelers Super Bowl run for everyone to jump on this bandwagon and say the same thing. We are getting very close to saying TJ Watt will end up with a better career than JJ Watt.
I agree with it. And
Yeah.
he just had his 100th sack yesterday, I believe. JJ.
He did, yeah.
I think he's more athletic. I think he's faster. He's not as big, I don't believe. But
You're talking about TJ, right?
Yeah.
Not as big, but faster. Yeah, definitely. I get that. Yeah.
And hopefully maybe that'll keep him healthier than JJ.
JJ's had some serious injuries in his career, but TJ, I hate NFL scouting. Like, NFL scout must be the easiest job in the world. How these people fuck this up this bad all the time? Like, it's not just that the Cowboys missed him. It said he went like 29th or 28th. Like, you thought there were 28 better players than TJ Watt.
And the Cowboy, Rod Marinelli, thanks a lot, douche. He's like, oh, it may not fit my scheme. I don't think I can play him with his hand in the dirt.
Yeah. And, I'm making fun of you, but we drafted defensive end in that draft and didn't go with TJ Watt. So, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's just, and speaking of defensive end now, so Tack McKinley was just released by your Atlanta Falcons, another player that the Cowboys had skipped on, I believe it was in the 2017 draft. So he was a first round pick.
He might have been 2018. I forget.
Producer Vince will find that out.
I think you're right. I think it's 2017.
He's got injury issues. Apparently, he's got on and off the field issues. Here we go.
This is the 2017 draft. So that's had to be the draft that he was in.
So there's Tack. He went.
TJ Watt went 30th. The Cowboys took Taco Charlton at 28.
So I'm sorry, the Cowboys didn't pass on him. He went 26th, then Taco. Oh my God, the Browns took in Joe.
I stopped looking at the list when I saw Marlon Humphrey at 14, the pick after us. Unfreaking believable.
Look, and you know who else the Cowboys could have had in that draft? All the way down to 36. How about Buda Baker?
Yeah, this is fun. This is a lot of fun, Vince. Thank you. Curtis Samuel at 40. Dalvin Cook, 41. Look who is 2 picks after. Sidney Jones.
Yep.
And look, Joe Mixon, though, I get that one. People did not want to take him. That doesn't really
Deshaun Kaiser going in the second round.
Look at this list. What a hit or miss draft. I've never seen more.
There's the Cowboys of the Woozier. Second.
Juju Smith-Schuster, 62. Deion Dawkins, 63. How the Eagles can miss on Deion Dawkins when he plays in the same freaking stadium?
Cooper Kupp.
Alvin Kamara, 69. Cooper Kupp.
We should do a during the offseason. During the offseason, we should have producer Vince just pick a random draft and we just go through it and agonize over it. Kareem Hunt, 86th overall. Yeah, this is Kenny Golladay, 96 overall. Wow, there was a lot of names in this draft, huh?
Yeah, and some of us took Donnell Pumphrey as the running back of their choice. James Conner,
105.
Oh, unbelievable. I can't keep going down this rabbit hole.
Eddie Jackson was 112th.
This is insane. Samaje Perine.
Matt Collins, there he is.
Tariq Cohen. Yeah, 1 pick out there is Tariq Cohen. This is insane. All right, we're done with this.
Make it go away. All right.
But that that was the demise of our podcast before it started. I think we'll go back to that draft multiple times.
Yes.
Because year 4 and 5 is when you're supposed to really be a contributor. you can tell just by going through those first few rounds, our teams missed, and we missed so badly, and we missed on generational prospects. And you are seeing the effects now in the NFC East.
So if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you have the number 3 in the waiver claim. Do you claim Tack McKinley? He's got injuries. Apparently he's got on and off the field issues. That's why no one would trade for him. Our friend of the program, Jeff Kavanaugh, tweeted about that a little bit ago. So I don't know.
My answer would be I would like to check with Jeff, and because he knows, he's an insider.
Yeah.
He has told us some information. I'd like to know what the off the field issues are before I say, hell yeah, put a claim in. Who cares?
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm going to say no. Maybe if you're a game back of the division, you try and add a piece like that. But I mean, they got Randy Gregory looked good yesterday, and I got to tell you what, I am taking. This makes me sad, but happy at the same time. I am relinquishing DeMarcus Lawrence from the Clown Crew completely. He was the captain, and he is no longer even in the Clown Crew. He has been balling lately, getting through double teams now. He's playing the run. He's probably the best defensive end in the league playing the run.
Oh God. Okay. Thank God that you finished that sentence, because I was going to reach through the screen.
No, I was not going to say the best defensive end in the league.
Thank you, Vince, for reminding us George Kittle was taken. I don't even feel bad about that.
Hold on, look right under there, though. Jordan Morgan. Kutztown, baby.
Kutztown, baby. There you go. Also, the Broncos took Jake Butt at 145, and the 49ers took George Kittle one after for 146. Like, that must just be the Broncos, DK Metcalf, JJ Arcega-Whiteside situation.
Yep. Jake Elliott.
We didn't even take him. Bengals took him. We just took him from them.
So yeah, I'm gonna say no. They got the guys there. I want to see Bradley and I get snaps. I want to keep seeing Randy Gregory get snaps. Aldon Smith hasn't really done much lately. He's working with a knee injury, so he's not getting that get off that he had. Hopefully, they're going to bring him back next year too, and then they just build up, get some juice in the middle of the line of the defensive tackles. But I don't think it's worth a waiver claim right now.
I agree. I don't think so either. And, I don't know how the contract works out with him, because I don't know if he gets released, if you have to pick up the 5th-year extension or what.
I don't know how that works.
So I don't know how that works. But like I said, I would like to know the background history.
JC.
Yeah.
Throw a DM my way.
Yeah, exactly.
Last thing, Biotish, the center, the rookie, he's going to be out multiple weeks. He was slated to start yesterday and apparently hurt his hamstring in warmups. So now he's out a couple weeks. Thank goodness Joe Looney is back from injury, and he was able to slide in there and start. So offensive line still somewhat in shambles. But Cam Irving, swing tackle, played well yesterday. Zach Martin, as always, led the offensive line, looked really well. So now they head into their bye week off a moral victory, if there is such a thing.
You can't beat it. Trust me, man. I watched 4 years of the Sixers lose games on purpose. It is okay. But here's what I'll say. Offensive line play, Austin Eckler was also undrafted. Just the list goes on and on in terms of running backs in the 2017 draft. So I'll say this. This is what I've been thinking about for a very, very long time. Like, all year I've been thinking about this. But offensive line play is so crucial. If you don't have it, like, you're not going to do anything in the NFL.
Nope.
Like, you can survive it in probably college just because of skill position players. But if you don't have people paving those lanes, you're done. And here I've been thinking of multiple examples. Like, our two teams, you brought it up. Like, you once again yesterday had to shift the offensive line. We do it every single week, and none of our teams have looked good. Also, like the Ravens, I'm sorry, I'm gonna forget this guy's name. He signed the contract and then broke his leg.
Ronnie Stanley from Notre Dame.
Thank you. So they had their offense didn't really look good all year, but as soon as they lost him, it did not think it was not that great.
Yeah, no, their offense is so heavily based on that run blocking scheme that when they lose a piece like him, it's game over.
And you even saw it a little bit. Like the Steelers lost David DeCastro, and they were not good.
Yep.
It's a rotating cycle. If your best offensive linemen aren't in, you are not going to succeed.
We have breaking news. I think producer Eddie, or I'm sorry, CEO Joe, I believe, has the Rona.
Yikes. Well, I haven't hung out with. It's literally been one. No, wait. I'm trying to think. Last time I saw him, but it's been. I haven't seen him since the
I
pandemic.
did a radio show with him 2 weeks ago. So good.
Yikes! Like together?
Oh, yeah. Not this
Oh,
past weekend. So
okay. Whoa.
we were supposed to golf on Friday together, and thankfully we canceled.
Yeah, that is probably good.
Yeah. So that's the Cowboys heading into the bye week. Now I get to have a nice Sunday to just enjoy life.
I play the Giants, which is the freaking cardiac arrest waiting to happen every time.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, the Giants, they probably, we'll get into it, and we have a good guest coming up this week where with Kyle Human, Cowboys guy, but I'm sure we'll get into all of the NFC.
Oh, yeah.
Giants must just like hate us because we always play, we keep winning, but the games are just like you walk away, you regroup, and you say, how the hell did the Eagles win that game?
Yeah, you're like, what?
Yeah.
So that's all right. So quick, let's try and do this real quick. So Eagles fans obviously hate the Cowboys the most, correct? Out of the division?
Not even close.
I would say Cowboys fans, well, for me, it's definitely the Eagles because of where I live. But from what I hear and people I talk to, it kind of shifts about who the rivalry is. But I'll give Cowboys fans hating the Eagles the most. Who do you think the Giants fans hate the most? The Eagles?
I think they hate the Cowboys.
You think they hate the Cowboys more?
You guys are just assholes. Like, I don't think anyone likes you.
You think the Washington football team, it's also Dallas?
I think they hate Dallas, yeah.
Do you think everybody's Dallas?
I think everybody's Dallas, yeah.
I'm going to say Giants. I think they may hate the Eagles more, Giants fans.
Recently, yes. I mean, we've had success, at least in my lifetime, against the Giants. We beat them in the playoffs before. We had the miracle at the Meadowlands. We've had a few games where you're like, how did the Eagles win that?
Mm-hmm.
So I could see them hating us out of that. We screwed them in playoff position the year we finished 7-9 in Wentz's rookie year. So that led to the infamous boat game when they were on the road in Green Bay. So yeah, we have screwed them a little bit. I hope that doesn't come back to bite us this week, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Producer Vince is so upset that we have really worked on our Washington football team knowledge and not saying the R word.
And we have not said it.
He can't bleep us.
But I'll finish. I got one thing for you because we're having this NFC East discussion, and I had this discussion in my brain by myself where it is a scary place. But
two different voices do you hear?
I talk to myself, and I don't know if it's the same voice or what, but it's pretty exciting conversation. I'll say that. But while I was talking to myself in my brain in public, I was like, wait, if the Steelers lose and the Cowboys win, I was doing the math. I was like, okay, carry the 2. And all right. And then it's you +1. And then you tie the Bengals because you're a coward who punts. The Cowboys could still win the division if they win this game. I was like, wait a second. We're going to go from it takes 1/2 of adequate football in the NFC East. And you're like, all right, we are back in this thing. Like we can do it. It could be our division. Who knows?
Do you know the Eagles have a better percent win probability of winning the NFC East than the Steelers do of winning the AFC North?
Somebody sent that to me today, and I find that to be hysterical. The numbers are a lie.
Yes.
Because I don't know. Like I said, it takes 1/2.
Well, I mean,
football in the NFC East to be back to play.
I thought the red, I got you, Washington football team was going to have a sneaky chance to win this division before yesterday, and then they go out and kind of lay an egg against the Giants.
Well, they lay an egg, but also like their quarterback dislocated his ankle. The NFC East is trending how 2020 is trending. Like you get a sliver of hope, and then it just it sucks you back in, and you're like, all right, back to despair.
So are they just going to start Alex Smith now?
They have to.
Yeah.
I mean, Dwayne Haskins has quit on this team. He's a
Completely.
loser, and he was
Yep.
always a loser, and he was
Yep.
never going to be good.
Yep.
And I'm not mincing words about what he is as a quarterback.
Yep.
Talk about frauds. So, I mean, they don't really have any other option than to start Alex Smith.
God, I hope they can protect him because I just don't want to see
I know.
anything happen to him.
I'm not even going to say it because it's going to set up, but yeah, I'm going to end it there. I don't want to accidentally jinx somebody into something bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just please protect him with your life.
Please. Yeah. So next episode that's going to be dropping this Thursday, we're going to have Kyle Yeomans on from DallasCowboys.com. He does some pregame, halftime, postgame stuff for DallasCowboys.com. He's on the podcast over there. He does really good work. Young, fun guy like us. So I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of fun talking Cowboys, you and him getting after it, and just overall NFC East talk with him too. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Me too. I'm really excited to have him on. NFC East talk will be good. I know it's your guys' bye week, but there's still a lot going on with both teams. So it's a good time to have him on right near the midway of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, and it's a good time to have him on probably after their best game of the season, even though it wasn't a win. I would think it was top 2 of their best games this season.
And another thing that I'm very excited to talk to him about, win or lose, he's got to be on and engaging. So it's like, we've had this conversation multiple times in the group text, like our teams keep losing. We have to host this podcast about 2 teams that like are trending in the wrong direction. So it'll be good to talk to somebody who has that type of experience.
Deals with the same thing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yes, Cowboys on the bye week. The Eagles are playing the Giants. So make sure you are subscribing on Apple, Spotify, Google, watching us on YouTube, subscribe on there and rate everywhere you can. Tell your friends, tell your family. I mean, we're 23 episodes in and we're getting a little hang of this. We've had some big guests and it's been a blast and it will continue to be. And this podcast will go on through the entire season and throughout the entire off season as well. So we thank the great people at Stateside Vodka as always. Saw it on today on their Instagram. They ship anywhere in Pennsylvania. So make sure you go to statesidevodka.com, order yourself a big boy or 2 or 3 or 5 and get them shipped right to your house. As always, we're powered by Branded Sports. Go to Branded_sports on Twitter, Kmess22 on Twitter, and Aidan is around. We will see you next time. This is Chris Hansen's favorite podcast, Birds vs. Boys.
1,000% chance that he puts this in.
Brown cow. Should we talk about soup or something? Since last time you put in, what did you say was overrated?
Oh,
or it stinks.
What did I say? Beans. Beans stink. They're just like who actively seeks out beans?
Only when I go to Chipotle and they're like, whenever I'm at Chipotle too, I always get like nervous. They're like, black beans or pinto beans, and I'm like, which ones do I like?
I always
I don't even know what a pinto is.
Exactly. I don't even get the beans.
No. Oh, you go no beans. Make the meal. Yeah. So then do you ask for like a little extra other stuff?
Yeah. Well, they give you 3 pieces of chicken like you're a starving like child in some third world country.
And then you ask for double chicken and they charge you $8 and they give you 2 more little pieces of chicken.
Just to have like that gets you up to junior size.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fucking Five Guys, you go across the street and a regular is actually a double. And then they're like, all right, here's a bag full of French fries.
Yep.
Congrats on your diabetes.
To get
$10.
A normal burger at Five Guys is called a little burger.
Yeah. Yes. The junior cheeseburger is just simply a cheeseburger everywhere else in the world.
But Five Guys in America, and only in America.
Only in America.
All right. Guy Fieri. Underrated, overrated?
Underrated.
Underrated.
I think Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Like you watch that show and you get into it. Like you're like, all right. This food looks amazing. This food looks unreal.
Welcome to the Chicken vs. Burgers podcast. I'll be your host, Chef Kmess.
Just say it, Chef Kmess.
All right. 220.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
The team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.